about the defensive backfield. How concerned are you about the linebackers? Has it changed in the last couple of weeks?
No, nothing has changed at all. And that obviously is still the one area that everyone will be looking at when the season starts. Did they leave themselves short? Should they have added a few more bodies there? Do they still need a veteran to come in and sort of take charge of the room? Obviously, you're now without Christian Kirksey. You're without Joe Schobert. You've got young guys. You need Sione Takitaki to step up. You need Mac Wilson to play better. You've got B.J. Goodson coming in as a veteran from the Giants and then the Packers, and then you drafted Jacob Phillips out of LSU. So they have plenty of talent and competition there. It's just a matter of, is it going to be enough, and will it be good enough?
Was this done by design, or did they think by now they'd have somebody else in there, or now that they don't, they just said, all right, we'll see what happens?
You know what? I think this was by design, because I believe that if they really felt that they needed something more, they would have done it by now. They had all off season, they had free agency, they had the draft. And, I feel like Andrew Berry must think that, how he has stocked the linebacker room should be sufficient. Now, a lot of times they will only have two linebackers on the field. This is not a position they felt they really needed to invest a lot of resources in. And I think a lot of times they will be in those sub defenses. I think from the pool that we just mentioned, the Mac Wilsons, the Sionis, the BJ Goodsons, and the Jacob Phillips, those guys, I think they feel like they can get the kind of linebacker play that they need.
All right, so there's some risky moves here in the offseason they could still make. Cleveland's top two ball linebackers departed in free agency. Christian Kirksey signed with Green Bay, and Joe Schobert got a deal with the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Browns did add that veteran, as you mentioned, B.J. Goodson, and he's a replacement-level talent, however, and that's what that looks like. So there's a case to see if you can go get Clay Matthews. Jadeveon Clowney isn't the only notable pass rusher still available. Matthews III is still on the open market, and he may be 34 years old, but he can still be a productive player. And just last season, he had 80 sacks and 37 tackles. At this stage of his career, Matthews is not going to command the type of money that Clowney might. However, he's still a valuable defensive piece for a contender. Mary Cavan's saying that's a guy you want for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think he's still got enough in him to play at this level with a contending team. And, of course, the history and his father and all that, that's an unbelievable PR move if they can make it. I mean, if they make that PR move, it's just not a PR move. The guy can still play.
Right. I mean, he had 8 sacks last year.
Yeah.
So I was kind of on that bandwagon but the more I checked into it, the more I just kept coming to the conclusion that they just weren't interested at all. And I don't think they feel that, last year was a strong enough year for him on a down-for-down basis. Yes, he was able to get to the quarterback, which I think is vitally important. But just for the role that he plays and for the level of play that he put forth last year, I just don't think they felt that was a fit for them. I still think it would be worth exploring at the right price, not only for what he brings on the football field, but in that linebacker room. I think that those young guys can use somebody like that. He's got tremendous leadership skills. He's been through it all. He has seen it all. And once again, he would do anything, I'm sure, for the Cleveland Browns, having grown up here and with what his father means to this football team.
Just point to the wall of fame up there, and his name is up there. I can imagine how Clay III would be able to, the pressure on him, but the fact that where else would you want to be in that if you're Clay Matthews III?
Absolutely. I mean, I know he would love it. He would relish the opportunity to do it. But once again, I just don't think it's in the cards. If it were, I think we would have heard about it by now. The only way that it would happen is if it became a sort of a last minute bargain basement price thing. Sometimes if the money becomes right, things start to happen.
Speaking of